I was standing in our kitchen, holding a glass of orange juice, when Megan said it. Maybe we should start trying soon. For real. Just like that. No lead-in. No explanation. I blinked at her like I misheard. My name's Daniel Carr. I'm 42, own a small auto repair shop just outside Columbus, Ohio. Megan, my wife at the time, was 37. She worked PR for some big corporate firm downtown. 10 years married. First 5? Solid. Best years of my life, honestly. The last 5? They dragged. And it all started when the baby talk got real. Megan always had a reason to wait. First, it was her promotion. Then she said we should buy a house first. Once we had the house, it turned into maybe after my boss retires, then I'll have breathing room. I didn't push at first. Figured she needed time. But time kept slipping, and I started seeing how much it meant to my folks. Every Sunday dinner at my parents' place, my mom would hit me with the same question. So, when am I going to be a grandma? My dad played it cool, but I saw it in his eyes. The man wanted grandkids more than anything. He used to light up when he talked about teaching the little ones how to fix an engine. I started to feel like I was letting them down. So, I tried everything to get Megan on board. Booked a weekend getaway to Asheville, just the two of us. Brought up nursery ideas over dinner. Even scheduled a consultation at a fertility clinic. Every time she brushed it off. Too soon, she'd say. Or, it's not the right time yet. Her go-to was, I want to be excited about it, not stressed. But then that morning in the kitchen, out of nowhere, she said it. Let's start trying. I damn near dropped my glass. I hugged her so tight she laughed and told me I was going to break her ribs. We started tracking cycles, drinking weird smoothies, reading up on prenatal vitamins. I even stopped drinking beer for a while because some article said it might help. The day I told my parents, they were over the moon. My mom cried. My dad slapped my back and said, "Told you she'd come around." What I didn't know then was this. That was the start of the biggest lie I've ever lived through. The first 8 months felt like we were holding our breath. Every cycle, every test, every little symptom, we analyzed it like detectives. Megan downloaded tracking apps. I bought supplements off some Reddit thread. We even had sex on her lunch break once, just to catch the right window. But nothing happened. So we booked the appointment. Dr. Nina Carlson's office looked more like a spa than a clinic. Dim lights, pastel walls, fake orchids on every surface. Carlson came in with this soft, therapist voice and perfect posture. She barely glanced at me. "We've reviewed your charts," she said, flipping through a file like she already knew how this would go. "Unfortunately, based on your test results, you two are incompatible for natural conception. Your chances without significant intervention are very low." Just like that, like she was reading weather reports. Megan turned toward me fast, eyes already wet. She grabbed my hand and said, "It's okay, babe. We'll adopt someday. We'll still be parents." I couldn't even speak. I just nodded, staring past the lamp in the corner. My whole chest felt like it dropped through the floor. The next few weeks were a blur. I tried to act normal at the shop, smiled through customer pickups, tuned out the sound of engines. At night, I'd lie awake while Megan rubbed my back and whispered, "We're okay. I love you. You didn't do anything wrong." And I believed her. We dove headfirst into specialists. Cleveland, then Chicago, then a clinic in LA that supposedly had the highest success rate for hard cases. 60 grand gone in 3 years. Flights, hotel rooms, endless tests. Every single one said the same thing in different language. Low compatibility. Unlikely conception. But Megan, she never lost her patience. She cried with me, held my hand during blood draws, even canceled a work trip once just to be at a second opinion appointment. I remember thinking, I'm the problem and she's still here. That must be love. Then my dad died. It was a stroke. Sudden. 69 years old. Gone in a day. I got to the hospital just in time to hear his last words. He looked at me, barely conscious, and said, "I know you'll be a great dad someday." I leaned close and said, "It's going to happen soon." I lied to his face, right as he left this world. Megan didn't cry much at the funeral. She just held my mom's hand, said all the right things. 2 weeks later, she came home with a golden retriever puppy tucked in her coat. His name's Baxter, she said. I thought he could bring us some joy. I stared at her, then down at the dog. It was obvious. This was the substitute. This was the answer she could live with. I should have said something. I should have pushed back. But I was tired. I was grieving. I just nodded and helped her set up the crate. We walked the dog together at night, gave him treats and stupid voices. And in the middle of it all, I told myself this was a phase. That Megan would change her mind. That we'd circle back to the adoption talk. But months passed. Then a year. Then 2. She never brought it up again. We were walking Baxter around the block one evening when Megan said it. I got the job. PR director at Griffin and Dale. I grinned and hugged her right there on the sidewalk. That firm was a big deal, TV ads, major clients, the kind of name that turned heads in Columbus. You earned it, I told her. You've been killing yourself for a shot like this. She smiled, but it wasn't her usual tired smile. It was brighter, almost cocky. I'll be working directly under Brandon Dale, she said, like I was supposed to know who that was. Turns out, Brandon Dale was one of the co-owners. Real smooth guy, good teeth, expensive suits, some podcast about leadership or whatever. Megan changed fast after that. New wardrobe, designer bags I didn't recognize. She started wearing lipstick to run errands. I'd never seen her give that much of a damn about appearances, even back in her climbing the latter years. She started traveling again. Client dinners, regional retreats, branding strategy weekends. She'd text me pictures of hotel rooms and say, "Miss you." But the calls got shorter. I figured she was just riding the high of a better job. I was proud of her. Thought maybe we were finally stepping into a better phase. Then came the anniversary gala. It was at some country club just outside the city. Fancy buffet, free wine, fake smiles. I wore a blazer I hadn't touched since my cousin's wedding. Megan looked different. Red dress, hair done up, heels she could barely walk in. She was glowing, and not in a way that felt like mine to admire anymore. She disappeared into the crowd as soon as we walked in. I grabbed us some drinks and found her by the stage, laughing at something Brandon was saying. Not just polite laughter, like lean forward, hand on his arm kind of laughter. She didn't even look over when I walked up, just reached behind her, handed me her empty glass like I was the damn waiter. You mind? She said, still facing him. I took the glass. My jaw clenched so tight I felt it in my ears. I didn't want to cause a scene, just needed a minute. So I stepped away. I was standing near the back, watching her keep her hand on his arm like it belonged there, when a woman came up beside me. Slim, black dress, short dark hair. She linked her arm through mine like we were old friends. Walk with me, she said quietly. I didn't even ask who she was. Just followed her out through the double doors and onto the patio. Once we were outside, she let go and turned to face me. I'm Monica Dale, she said. Brandon's wife. I nodded. My mouth was dry. I'm Daniel. I guess you've seen what I've seen. I've seen more, she said. Text messages, hotel receipts, GPS history. She said it calm, like she wasn't here to break down. She was here to take notes. I want precision, she said. Not drama. I looked at her for a second. Same. We exchanged numbers. She told me she'd be in touch. Then she looked through the glass doors at the crowd inside, gave a cold little smirk, and disappeared. I went back in just long enough to grab my coat. Megan was still at the bar, laughing, touching Brandon's shoulder like I didn't exist. I didn't say a word to her. Not that night. Monica texted me 2 days later. Short message. Need to talk. Bring your laptop. We met at a quiet coffee shop off High Street, back corner booth. Both of us pretending this was just business. She was dressed sharp, hair pulled back tight, not a trace of emotion on her face. She uses her middle name when she travels, Monica said as soon as I sat down. Rose. Megan Rose Carr. That's her alias. I frowned. Alias? You're serious? Monica nodded and slid her phone across the table. On the screen was a photo of a hotel receipt, Seattle, 2 weeks earlier. Room for Rose Carr. She told me she was in Indianapolis that weekend. I said. She wasn't, Monica replied. Brandon said he was consulting there too. Guess where he really was? I stared at the photo until the edges blurred. Then I opened my laptop right there and logged into our joint travel rewards account. Took about 5 seconds to find it. 1 ticket to Seattle. Booked under Rose Carr. Paid with our shared card. My hands went cold. She hadn't even bothered to hide it. When I got home, I started digging. Credit card records, bank statements, airline miles, anything that touched her name. 3 months back, I found a florist charge, $180. Delivery to Griffin and Dale's address. The note on the receipt said, "Thanks for the weekend, R." That's when I opened a spreadsheet. Date, location, charge, explanation. I started filling it in like I was building a case file. Every dinner meeting, every flight, every late night at the office. Megan came home that evening complaining about work stress. I looked up from my laptop and asked, "Rough day?" She nodded, kissed my cheek, and went to shower. I watched her go, pretending I was still the fool she thought I was. Monica kept feeding me more. Screenshots of Brandon's calendar invites, dinner reservations for 2, hotel bookings under business expense codes. She even had photos from events. Megan standing too close, hand on his arm again. Same red dress she'd worn to the gala. We didn't talk about revenge. We talked about evidence. She'd say things like, "I'll handle corporate. You handle personal." One night, I pulled up my spreadsheet and realized I'd logged 24 separate lies in just 2 months. Trips that didn't exist. Charges she couldn't explain. Client dinners that cost more than our mortgage. Every cell I filled made me calmer. Not better, just focused. I stopped asking Megan about her days. I stopped checking when she'd be home. She still kissed me goodnight like nothing was wrong. Sometimes I'd lie there in the dark, wondering how long she'd been living 2 lives under the same roof. Monica called again the following week. "I have what we need," she said. Hotel invoices, time-stamped photos, even receipts tied to Brandon's corporate card. "If we do this right, we can take both of them down." Her voice was steady. Mine wasn't. "I'm in," I said. So we kept going quietly, methodically. Every piece of data another nail. Every fake receipt another crack. We weren't screaming. We weren't begging for truth. We were dismantling her world one thread at a time. About a week after Monica and I built our last spreadsheet, I got a Facebook message from someone named Kayla M. Profile picture in hospital scrubs, maybe late 20s. Her message said, "Hi, are you Daniel Carr? I used to work at Dr. Nina Carlson's clinic. I really need to talk to you about something important. It's about your file." I almost ignored it, thought it was spam. But something in the way she worded it, no fluff, no emojis, just direct, made me answer. We agreed to meet the next afternoon at Schiller Park. I got there early, sat on a bench near the pond. It was one of those gray Ohio days where everything looked drained of color. Kayla showed up right on time. Short brown hair, tired eyes, holding a coffee cup like she needed courage. She sat beside me but kept her distance. "I'm not supposed to be doing this," she said. "But I think you deserve to know." I nodded slowly. "Know what?" She took a breath. "Your wife paid Dr. Carlson $15,000 to lie about your fertility results." I froze. "What are you talking about?" "She bribed her. Megan wanted the report to say you were incompatible. That's why you kept getting the same answer everywhere else. Carlson shared those falsified results with the other specialists. It followed you." The air went out of my chest. "You're telling me there was nothing wrong with me?" Kayla shook her head. "Nothing wrong with either of you. The original lab tests showed perfect compatibility. I saw the files myself." I stared at the pond. A couple of ducks drifted by, and all I could think was how silent everything suddenly felt. "Why are you telling me this now?" "Because I couldn't keep quiet after what happened at Griffin and Dale." Brandon Dale's investigation pulled Megan's name into our HR system. There were payment records that didn't make sense. That's how I realized the connection. She reached into her bag and pulled out a small USB drive, wrapped in tissue. "Everything's on here," she said. "Original results, email threads between Carlson and Megan, and a wire transfer confirmation for $15,000. It's all time-stamped." I took the USB like it was a live grenade. "Why would she do that?" I muttered. Kayla looked straight at me. "Because she never wanted kids, and she didn't want to argue about it. It was easier to make you believe it wasn't possible." My stomach turned. All those years of hope, the money, the tests, the tears, none of it real. I wasn't broken. She just made me believe I was. Kayla touched my arm lightly. "I'm sorry, Daniel. I didn't know at the time. I left the clinic a year later. But when I saw her name again, I couldn't sit on it." I managed a nod. "Thank you for telling me." She stood up, zipped her bag, and hesitated. "Be careful how you use it," she said. "There's enough here to ruin them both." Then she walked away, leaving me there with that little drive burning a hole in my hand. When I got home, Megan was on the couch watching TV. She smiled, asked if I wanted dinner. I said I'd already eaten at the shop. I went straight to my office, plugged the USB in, and watched the truth unfold. There it was in black and white. Dr. Carlson's original report marked compatible. Then a follow-up email from Megan. "Please adjust the results to indicate male factor incompatibility. Payment confirmation attached." There was a PDF of the wire transfer too. $15,000 exactly. I sat there until my hands stopped shaking, then zipped everything into a new folder labeled Carlson Fraud and uploaded it to the shared drive Monica and I had been using. 10 minutes later, Monica texted me. "Got it. This changes everything." She was right. This wasn't just an affair anymore. It was fraud. Megan hadn't just lied to me. She'd stolen a whole future I didn't even get the chance to fight for. The morning after I sent Monica the files, I called my bank. Told them I wanted a solo account and to take Megan off the joint one. No explanation needed, they processed it in 10 minutes. Next, I changed the password to our mortgage account. Locked her out of everything, utilities, investment login, even the vacation cabin deed. That one I retitled into a trust under my name and my mom's. Megan wouldn't even see it coming. She noticed by the second week. "Hey," she said one night, flipping through her laptop. "Why can't I log into the Chase account? I didn't even look up. Weird. Might be a server thing. Try again later." She stared at me for a beat, like she knew I was full of it, but didn't have the energy to fight. Meanwhile, Monica moved her piece. She filed an anonymous HR complaint with Griffin and Dale. Nothing loud, just clean bullets. Favoritism, unexplained expense approvals, potential conflict of interest. She submitted screenshots, matching reservations, and the hotel invoice trail we built. Then I dropped the second hammer. I used an encrypted portal and sent an anonymous tip to their compliance department. Brandon and Megan were involved, and company money had funded more than one private retreat. I attached copies of the Seattle flight under Rose's car, plus 3 flagged credit card charges from that same weekend. Megan started getting called into meetings. First one was about transparency in client expenses. Then internal clarification around travel records. She came home rattled. "It's nothing serious," she said, pacing the kitchen. "Just some audit stuff. Probably standard," I said, stirring my coffee. "That company runs tight." By Friday, Brandon had stopped replying to her texts. She called twice while I sat right across from her. No answer. She didn't even try to hide it, just stared at her phone like it betrayed her. She didn't sleep that night. I heard her get up at 3, sit on the couch, whispering to someone on speaker. Her voice cracked once. I pretended not to hear a thing. That Monday, she stormed through the door an hour early. "Someone's sabotaging me," she snapped. I couldn't get into the client folders. Then my Outlook froze, and now my calendar's completely wiped. I shrugged. Maybe IT's updating something. Brandon's not talking to anyone. They said he's on sabbatical. What the hell does that mean? I sipped my water. Sounds like a Brandon problem. Her eyes searched my face for something. Guilt, nerves, anything. I gave her none. 2 days later, The email went out company-wide. Brandon and Monica Dale invite you to a private renewal ceremony, December 8th, 6 p.m., at the Foundry. She wasn't on the guest list. Her face when she found out? Pale, tight-lipped. She texted Monica. No reply. She emailed Brandon, bounced back. Her badge stopped working the next morning. Daniel, she said as I left for work, something is going on. I don't know what, but I think someone's trying to ruin me. I gave her a quick kiss on the cheek and said, that's a heavy thing to say. You should take the day to breathe. Then I walked out the door and let her unravel. She left early that morning, dressed sharper than usual. Black suit, heels, hair pinned tight. Said she had one last review meeting before everything settled. I just nodded and watched her drive off. By noon, Monica texted, it's happening. They called her in. Brandon already signed the NDA. That was all I needed to know. Brandon Dale, Mr. Charmer, had cut his deal and bailed, leaving Megan to burn alone. She came home 5 hours later looking like someone had wrung her out. Her suit was creased, mascara smudged halfway down her face, shoes in her hand. She didn't even say hello, just dropped her purse on the floor and sat at the kitchen table. They made me bring 2 years of project files, she said, voice cracking. They said there were inconsistencies. Brandon didn't even show up. He just resigned, signed some agreement. They said he's done, and now they're reviewing my work for financial misconduct. I stayed quiet, let her ramble. They're saying I approved expenses I didn't even touch, that I mishandled client funds. They're going to audit my emails. Daniel, they're going to ruin me. I sat across from her, folded my hands. You already did that yourself. Her head snapped up. What's that supposed to mean? I slid a manila envelope across the table. Inside were copies, legal complaint drafts, screenshots, medical records, email threads. All of it. She didn't open it at first. What is this? Everything you've done, I said. The affair, the fake name, the bribery, the doctor, the money you stole from me. Her hand froze on the envelope. You don't know what you're talking about. I know you paid Dr. Carlson $15,000 to falsify my test results, I said flatly. I know you used Rose's car to book flights and hotel rooms with your boss. I know you stole 3 years of my life and made me believe I was broken. Her eyes filled fast. That's not, Daniel, please. That's not how it was. You don't understand what I was dealing with. Panicked. I just don't. I cut in. You didn't panic. You planned it. You lied to every doctor we saw. You made me think I couldn't give my dad the grandkids he died waiting for. She pressed her palms against her face, sobbing hard now. We can fix this, she said through her fingers. I'll quit. I'll tell them everything. We can start over. Please, Daniel, I'll do anything. I leaned back, calm as stone. It's too late for that. She looked up, mascara streaked, eyes wild. What do you mean, too late? Divorce papers are coming, I said. Everything's already in motion. You're finished at work, and I'm done pretending we're something we're not. She stood, pacing, tugging at her hair. I don't have anywhere to go. You can't just throw me out. I grabbed my keys off the counter. You planned your escape, Megan, I said, heading for the door. Guess you better use it. She started to say something, but I didn't wait. I walked out and shut the door behind me, leaving her standing there in the quiet, surrounded by the ruins she built herself. I filed the divorce paperwork that same week. Took the envelope straight to the courthouse myself. When the clerk stamped it and handed it back, it felt like a door slammed shut behind me. Megan tried to stall. Her lawyer sent emails, suggested mediation, wanted to negotiate a fair division of assets. I told mine there was nothing to divide. The judge agreed. Once the evidence was laid out, false medical records, bank transfers, the bribery trail, there wasn't a shred of sympathy for her. She left that courtroom with no claim to the house, the cabin, or a single cent of our accounts. Her face when the ruling came down? Blank, just dead behind the eyes. I didn't look at her on the way out. Meanwhile, the fallout kept spreading. Dr. Carlson got hit hard. Turned out mine wasn't the only case she doctored. Once Monica shared the files with the state board, more people came forward. Parents who'd spent thousands chasing fake diagnoses. Couples who divorced thinking they couldn't have kids. It exploded. She lost her license. Clinic shut down within 2 months. Megan didn't just lose her job. She got charged. Fraud and theft. Tampering with medical records. Misuse of corporate funds. Her lawyer tried to cut a deal. Pleaded hardship, stress, mental pressure. I said no. I'm not giving her a shortcut, I told the DA. She didn't give me one. Monica pushed forward too. Griffin and Dale wanted to quietly settle, but she made sure every report hit the press. Brandon was finished. No firm would touch him. Even his podcast vanished overnight. For the first time in months, I slept through the night. A few days after the ruling, I went to visit my mom. She opened the door, took one look at me and started crying. I kept asking why, she said. I thought it was you. I thought maybe you didn't want kids. I hugged her tight and told her everything. About the bribe, the fake diagnosis, the years we wasted chasing a lie. She cried so hard she shook. I did too. We sat in her kitchen for over an hour, just holding on to each other like we were trying to make up for time. I would have loved any grandchild, she whispered. But I love you more. That broke me all over again. It wasn't just the loss of a dream. It was the realization that Megan never gave me a choice. She took my future, twisted it, then handed it back empty. But now, I finally had the truth. And that was something I could live with. The judge didn't waste time. Megan was convicted, 16 months in state prison, full restitution ordered. The courtroom was quiet when the sentence dropped. She looked over at me once. I didn't look back. I sold the house a month later. Bought a smaller place across town. 2 bedrooms, old brick, nothing fancy, but solid. I didn't want space I wasn't using. Business started picking up again. Word got around. People respected how I handled everything. Never blew up online. Never dragged her name through the mud. Just steady, quiet, focused. I started hiking again. Something I hadn't done in years. Joined a men's group through my church, real guys, no fake smiles. We talked about loss, rebuilding, and how to move without bitterness. My mom moved closer, into a condo about 10 minutes from me. We did dinner every Sunday. She'd bring over baked chicken and ask about the shop like she used to. Felt normal again. Monica texted every now and then. Last one came on a Thursday night. I'm seeing someone. He's decent. Hope you're not letting her garbage keep you from trying again. I smiled at the screen. Replied with a thumbs up. That was enough. One Saturday morning, I ran into GALA at the farmer's market. She was buying peaches. I walked up, tapped her shoulder. Hey, I said. Just wanted to say thanks again. She looked surprised, then smiled. You doing okay? Better than okay, I said. Thanks to you. We didn't exchange numbers. Didn't need to. Some people are just meant to pass through and shift the story. Megan got out after 13 months for good behavior. She moved to Cincinnati. Last I heard, she was working retail. Her parents cut ties. She's on her own now. I never wanted revenge. I just wanted truth. And now that I had it, I didn't feel anger. Just distance. The future I pictured, with kids and cookouts and weekend soccer games, was gone. But I'd found something else. Something stronger. Clarity. Control. Peace. Last weekend, I visited my dad's grave. The grass was just cut. Leaves scattered across the headstone. I pulled a small box from my coat and opened it. Inside was a tiny model car we built together when I was 10, red paint, black wheels, still a little chipped. I set it down on the stone right over his name. You were right, Dad, I said. I just took a little longer to get there.